Takumi is summoned to another world and appears in front of goddess Nalin, who apologizes to him, saying there's been a big mistake. She explains, some evil people in this world used a forbidden summoning spell to pull people from Earth. You weren't on their list, but the spell blundered and picked you up along with the others. Takumi asks, where are the others who were summoned before me? She replies, the proper targets of the spell were sent safely to the place where it was cast. Since you weren't one of them, I brought you here to heaven. He says, if my summoning was a mistake, can you send me back to Earth? She says, it's not possible. I got so mad that I destroyed the forbidden spell. Now no one can travel between our two worlds. Takumi starts panicking, but Goddess reassures him, I will give you a new body and a magical blessing that will make your life easier in New World. She creates a magic crystal and embeds those blessings inside his body and farewells him to the New World. He crash lands in a forest, and after getting up, he walks to the river. Seeing his reflection, he says, I look so hot now. Then he opens the bag Nalin left him, which has some food and money. He checks his status screen and sees Nalin really did bless him with powerful skills. He curiously tries it out, saying water ball, and it appears in his hand. He then summons a rock to hit a tree, and using wind cutter, he cuts the leaf blades. As he starts walking toward the nearest village, he spots a stick on the path. Using his appraisal skill, he discovers it's treant wood, a rare material useful for making spears. He tries out his modeling skill and successfully turns wood into a spear. He then scans the area for more useful plants and finds many. He gathers them and realizes he picked more than his bag can hold. Then he remembers he has item box and stores everything inside it. Suddenly, he hears a scream. A young girl bursts through the bushes, begging for help as the huge horned monster chases her. The monstrous rabbit charges at Takumi, who panics and stabs it in the head, killing it. Takumi assumes it's thanks to Nalin's blessing. He beats such a creature. He then checks his status change to warrior, which pisses him. He asks girl if she's fine. She says she was collecting herb when she got attacked. He says he'll take her home, but first stores the rabbit in his item box. She's amazed by his skills and says, Mister, you're incredible. He then walks away with her. Meanwhile, in Holy Sidonia Empire, people summoned from Earth are in a circle and seems confused. Just when they question where we are, someone approaches them saying, welcome to this new world. They get shocked and she greets them, explaining, we've summoned you here as heroes to save this world, though we'll explain the details later. First, let me introduce myself. I'm first Empress of this Sidonia Empire, and removes her cloak. The girl standing there receives a blessing that makes her realize the woman is evil and cannot be trusted. Meanwhile, upon reaching the village, Takumi drops Molly off to her parents, who thank him. Takumi then asks them if he can stay in this village for a while, and Guy says, why not, this village is good for craftsmen if you're into that. Molly's dad Banga says this is Bobbin, he's a blacksmith. Takumi thanks them for letting him stay, but they say there's a problem. There's no hotel in the village. They take him to a spot saying, we can build you a house here. Takumi agrees and levels the ground first, but feels dizzy as magic used too much of his mana. Banga holds him, saying take some rest and leave next steps to us. The next morning, Takumi's house is finally complete. There he opens his status and selects the jobs he wants to pursue: alchemist and blacksmith. He then looks at the ores he mined with Bobbin and decides to make ingots from them. As he uses his magic to melt them first, he says, it's so cool, I'm trying out some alchemy, and after melting them and going through many processes, he finally converts them into ingot. He says, finally I did it, and his skill also gets leveled up. He says, I'll make more ingots, and keeps working all day until Molly appears saying, I bought you dinner, and is shocked to see him unconscious from exhaustion. Later, Molly's mom Martha lectures him for overworking, then hands him potion which makes him feels better. Now she keeps eye on him while he works. With his alchemy skills, he was able to make utensils and other tools. He says, I did a lot of alchemy today and my alchemist level skyrocketed. Later, he tries his blacksmith skills by beating metal at Bobbin's place, then puts it in fire. Bobbin tells him to increase temperature with his fire magic. He then takes it out and dips it in cold water. Now Bobbin says they've finally made a fine spearhead. Takumi isn't happy. He didn't want his blacksmith skill surpasses his alchemy. Later, he meets Banga and asks for some potions so he can make more like them. Banga agrees, saying, sell me some when you're done making. Next, he starts preparing the potions and says, this bring back memories of experiments I conducted as a child. Then pours the finished potions into a flask. He matches it with potion he got from Banga and realizes that its color is different because he used different magic to prepare it. Then he goes to collect herb, and as he eats it, he realizes it's a poisonous herb, so he immediately uses purification magic to heal himself. He feels relieved and acquires a poison resistance skill. Just when he gets up, a boar appears from behind. He grabs his spear as the boar charges towards him. He throws a knife but it fails. He attacks with spear which breaks and he's thrown away. Boar cries out angrily. He attacks with rock balls, but boar remain unharmed. Then uses wind cutter which fails too. He is scared nothing works. As he turns back, he's shocked to see another monster. He sees the poisonous spider is injured, but just then boar runs to attack him. But spider jumps to stop it and gets injured while boar is ready to charge at Takumi again. With teary eyes, Takumi thinks what I should do. Just then he gets an idea. He jumps towards boar and using alchemy he hits on its head, killing the boar instantly. Takumi looks at it. He says I did it. Acquiring new skill martial arts, he then walks towards the spider who's about to die. He thanks the spider for trying to help him and starts healing its wounds. He then says you seems fine now, I'll be going then. As he's walking away, his bar shows he can tame the spider which shocks him, and he wonders who wanna have spider as pet but still asks it, do you want to come with me? As it agrees, he names it Maple because of pattern on its back looks like maple leaf. Just as he tames it, Maple's broken leg regenerate, and it evolves. Takumi is amazed because it evolved into killer spider from poisonous spider while Maple blushes happily getting a master. Later, villagers are shocked that Takumi hunted such a huge boar. He then shows them his pet spider which scares everyone. They worryingly ask is it fine to have a deadly pet? He says Maple won't harm me. At night everyone savors the boar's meat along with Takumi and enjoys the wonderful night. While Maple plays with kids, Bobbin says village has become brighter thanks to Takumi. On the other side, a red-haired girl is working inside a room while a beautiful blonde looks outside the window. Goddess Nolan watches Takumi having his good time from the heaven when other goddess appears and asks what are you hoping from Takumi, and she says nothing. Takumi is tied up and asks, why did you do this to me? He asks it to apologize. It does and says it was lonely and wanted to play. He realizes that he worked all week on potions and ingots and tells her he will play with her. She starts jumping on him happily. Suddenly, Martha appears and is shocked to see them. He says, she is not eating me, while she is amazed by the silk and looks at it greedily. Later, she shows a silk shirt to some women who happily admire it. They tell Takumi that spider silk is very expensive and rare. Martha approaches the spider and asks for more silk. He tries to explain that it can't understand, but he is surprised when she does. He gets jealous and asks Maple to play with him. She says, I am busy, so he leaves and walks around the village toward the blacksmith. There, he admires the armor and the boots the blacksmith made for him. He says the boots are good for fighting monsters in the forest. Banga joins them. He asks Takumi if he would leave the village soon to get better materials. He sadly says yes. The blacksmith tells him that they have arranged for him to follow a carriage coming to the village. That afternoon, he runs into Martha, who is about to throw away some meat because it has parasites. He uses his purification magic to help her clean the meat. She is shocked that he can use light magic and thanks him. She then warns him that he should avoid using his magic carelessly because it is rare and can make him very rich, but people might target him. The next day, he creates a wall around the village to protect it and uses magic to create a metal pump to make the villagers' life easier. Later, a merchant with his carriage comes to the village for supplies. The chief comes out to greet him, and Takumi approaches them. The chief introduces him to the merchant. Takumi gives a potion to the chief and thanks him. The merchant is shocked at the quality of the potion. He asks to see the potion and examines it. Then the villagers gather to wish him farewell because he is leaving the village. The chief tells him to take care of himself, while the women give him a cloak made from spider silk. They thank him for everything he did in the village. He bows down and says, I appreciate your kindness. After that, he leaves with the merchant, and the villagers wave him goodbye until the carriage goes out of sight. On the way, the merchant introduces the passengers as his bodyguards. They are bored with the peaceful journey and wish they could fight some monsters, which makes Takumi uneasy. He tells them about his pet killer spider. They are shocked, and when one of them tries to look at it, he gets attacked, alarming Takumi. But the other man says he deserved it. Now the merchant calls Takumi and asks to buy his potions. He agrees to sell them. Suddenly, he stops the carriage in fear while the bodyguards get ready to fight. A group of armed goblins approaches them. The Lion Fang party comes down from the carriage and moves toward the goblins. They attack the goblins as a team, killing them all. Two goblins try to flank from behind but are shot down by the archer. They continue the journey peacefully into the night. The next day, they arrive at the bustling city of Bolton. Takumi heads to the Adventurers Guild with the Lion Fang party. There, they part ways and he tries to register as an alchemist. The receptionist tells him that there are no alchemist guilds but convinces him to still register as a normal member, and also registers Maple as a pet. In the next scene, we see Takumi and the merchant in an office. He offers him about 7 million yen for his potions. He is shocked at the huge amount and gets suspicious about the merchant's reason for treating him so well. He asks Takumi about his house and tells him to get one with a workshop. He quickly tells him that he has no money to buy one. The merchant rings a bell, which brings the servant named Thomas and asks him to find a house. Later, the servant and Takumi are standing in front of a mansion. He is worried that the rent is cheap because someone died there. He agrees to take it and tells Maple it's their new house, and they both walk back into town. Suddenly, he stops and holds his nose at the smell. The servant explains that the city smells because there is sewage beneath it that is hard and expensive to treat. The next day, Takumi moves into the mansion and begins to work. He makes a clay toilet and uses fire magic to heat it up. Later that day, he is tired from working hard and then he begins to admire his toilet. Suddenly, he hears a scream and runs toward the sound. He is shocked to find out that Maple had tied up the merchant with webs. The merchant seems to be enjoying it. He apologizes for Maple's behavior. The merchant asks to use the toilet. Suddenly, he opens the door, surprised at the toilet. Takumi explains that he made the toilet with a magic cleaning device. The merchant is surprised and asks him if he's a light magic user. Takumi pleads with him not to tell anyone. He begs Takumi to make 100 more toilets for him, and when he finally agrees, he suggests using slaves to make the work easier. Takumi refuses. Merchant explained the light magic he used is very rare, and he might be captured and used because of it, so a slave was needed for protection. Takumi still refuses. Just then, his guild card glows and he receives a quest. Then he realizes that he needs more help. He follows the merchant to a slave market. The merchant excuses himself and leaves Takumi. He finds a garden and walks into it, and in the garden, he finds an elf with golden hair. They stare at each other until she tells him to leave. This is nowhere for a child. Now the merchant introduces Takumi to a slave trader called Mulan and tells her he is hesitant to get a slave. He tells her that having slaves is forbidden where he is from. But Mulan convinces him that slaves have protected rights here. Also, people cannot kill them and must provide food, shelter, and clothing. In return, the slaves protect and assist their masters. She then explains the different types of slaves she owns: debtors, criminals, and war slaves before asking, "So, which one do you want?" He tells her he needs someone to protect him on his quest and another to manage his mansion. She suggests that he will need 2 slaves, one for housekeeping and one for protection. Later, a girl called Maria joins them at the office. The trader says Maria was kidnapped at a young age and has no family, but she is skilled at calculations and housekeeping. Takumi describes the work at his mansion and the rooms she needs to clean. Maria confidently tells him she can do it. He smiles and admits he didn't expect someone as cute as her to be working for him. She blushes and quietly says that she only does chores. He curiously asks what she means by doing only chores. She replies, "I only do housework. I will not sleep with you." Takumi is shocked and quickly tells her, "No, I only want you to clean my house. I don't want to sleep with you." The trader then asks if he likes Maria as his slave. He says yes. She promises to find a second slave for him. Maria tries to recommend her friend, but Mulan tells her to leave the room. Takumi then asks about the second slave and wants to see her, but is warned that the slave has problems, but he insists. She leads him to a room where they meet an elf, the one he had seen earlier in the garden. The elf looks surprised to see him. The trader explains that the elf was captured during a war 50 years ago and has wounds on her hands and ears. She adds that a curse has sealed the elf's magic, making her useless in fighting. Takumi asks to speak with the elf alone. He introduces himself, and then he holds her face to look at her stats and is shocked at her high level. When the trader comes back into the room, Takumi tells her that he will take Sophia as his second slave and help her to heal. Mulan is stunned and laughs, saying the elf has been like this for 50 years. She agrees to hand the elf named Sophia over to him. Sophia reluctantly agrees to follow Takumi. Back at the office, they draw up the slave contracts. Maria enters and thanks Takumi for choosing her friend as well. The trader lifts her magical staff and casts a spell to complete the contracts. When the spell ends, both girls promise to work hard and thank Takumi for becoming their master. Later that day, at the door they are startled when Maple jumps on him. He gives Maria and Sophia their own rooms, which makes them excited. He also tells them about the magic bath. In the next scene, the girls enjoy the bath. They talk about how the traitor gave the elf to him when she had refused others. The elf mentions that she looked at their contract and noticed some blank entries as if Takumi was trying to hide something. Later that evening, he prepares dinner for the slaves, which makes Maria sad because cooking and cleaning is her job. She calls herself a toilet. He tells her that she can start her work after dinner since it's her first day. He also tells them to call him by his name, not master. Maria agrees, but Sophia still isn't sure. The next day, while picking up a package from the merchant, Takumi notices a church and goes inside. There, he sees a statue of the goddess and kneels to pray, asking why she hates these people who still worship her. When he opens his eyes, he sees he is in heaven with the goddess. She tells him that she wants to talk with him. She explains that she has nothing to do with the current church, revealing that two religions exist, hers and the other one that of a fake god. She also tells him the Sidonian people used force to spread their religion, but she does not interfere with humanity. Finally, she warns him the blessings he received will soon begin to fade, like after a tutorial when a real game starts. She says from now on, everything is up to him. Then he opens his eyes and finds himself in the church. 1 year later, we see a huge castle. A man, sitting on a throne, asks two people about the heroes. One of them reports that the heroes initially refused to help but are now training thanks to the princess's encouragement. In a training yard, two heroes are seen sword fighting. One of them struggles, recalling a time he lost a fight to his junior. He also remembers being mocked. Fueled by anger, he charges forward to attack. Observing them, a man suggests the girl should train as well, but as she refuses, the princess arrives telling her it is necessary. The girl thinks the princess is dangerous. Meanwhile, Takumi returns home and collapses. A package falls from his bag. He quickly hides it before the elf can take it. Sophia curiously sneaks into his workshop. There, she is shocked to see him cutting and healing himself repeatedly with a poison knife. Hearing Maria's name from his lips, she panics, thinking he might hurt her, and rushes in but faints from exhaustion. Takumi uses a lot of mana to heal her, which makes his light magic get an upgrade. Later, while resting, Maria explains that Sophia's curse makes her tired easily. He decides to remove her curse. He also restores Sophia's injured ears, stunning Maria. When she wakes up that evening, she tries to convince Maria to run away, fearing Takumi. Maria shows her a mirror. She sees her ears have been healed. Feeling her magic returning, she is shocked. That evening, she speaks with Takumi. He says that he needed an upgrade to heal her. That's why he was cutting and poisoning himself. Then she asks, "Why did you say Maria's name?" He says Maria had thrown away some important herbs, but he never intended to hurt her. Deeply touched, she kneels and swears her eternal loyalty to Takumi, who happily offers his hand to her. The next morning, Takumi reads some books and realizes these books are written in old languages, which is why alchemy isn't popular anymore. As he walks home, he thinks, thanks to the goddess's blessings, I can understand the alchemy books. Later that day, Maria tells him that she saw him and the elf yesterday, and they looked cute together, which makes him uncomfortable. In the morning, while they are working, Takumi tells Maria that he will stop making toilets and take a break. He says, I want to travel and get some materials for work. Sophia will follow me, you stay at home. Maria begs to come with them. He tells her it will be dangerous. She says, alone? I am like a toilet in the desert. He thinks for a while and then holds her face to look at her stats. He is surprised that she has good combat stats for fighting. Sophia also tells him that she wants Maria to come and says, I will train her. He agrees to let her follow them. Later at the workshop, Takumi asks what weapons they need. Sophia asks for a long sword, a spear, and a bow. Maria asks for short blades, but Sophia tells her she should train with spears. Takumi begins to work that night using magic to melt the ingots. The next morning, while Sophia trains Maria on spear fighting, Takumi drinks a potion to recover his mana and enchants the weapons he made with an auto-repair enchantment. He admires the short blades he made for Maria and has a nosebleed when he thinks of Maria wearing them on her thighs. Next, he thinks of their armor but decides not to ask them. Suddenly, he gets an idea and summons two dolls that look like Maria and Sophia. He admires the bodies of the dolls and then starts drawing plans for their armors. Several days later, they wear the armor he just made, which excites him. He asks them, how does it feel? They tell him it's perfect. Sophia asks, how did you get our sizes? Takumi is embarrassed and instead talks about weapons. He asks them about their weapons. Sophia says that she likes her long sword, and Maria tells him that her daggers are perfect as well. Then he gives them rings that have mana in them. He tells them that it will help increase their magic power. Later, he takes them to the guild house to get registered as guild members. Takumi also registers them as a party. The receptionist reminds him of his guild quest. He tells him he will handle it today. Then they go to the quest boards. While they look at the quests, some adventurers approach them and want to take Maria and Sophia away. Takumi stands in front of them to protect them and tells them to go away. These are my party members. Their leader angrily hits Takumi, but he uses a skill to strengthen his body, which wounds the man, shocking everyone. Suddenly, a man tells everyone to stop and angrily speaks to Takumi. Hans tells him that it wasn't Takumi's fault and introduces the man as Barak, the guild master. He tells them to heal the injured man. Then he tells Takumi to follow him. At his office, he asks, "How did you break the hand?" Hans guesses he used magic, which shocks him. Takumi explains he used alchemy to make his body strong as diamonds, which impresses the guild master. The guild master then suggests that they will promote him to prevent future bullies. Takumi refuses and says they just formed their party. Then Hans suggests doing some quests to level up their party. Maria and Sophia tell him that they are okay with this. They head to the forest to hunt goblins for their quest. Takumi tells them that there are 4 goblins ahead. Sophia rushes forward and kills 2, while Maple ties their legs for Takumi and Maria to kill the other 2. After the fight, Takumi is worried that they keep encountering monsters at a high rate. Sophia says there might be a monster camp nearby, which might be controlled by a goblin general. She tells him if they use magic, they can easily defeat them. This worries him, but Maria is excited to fight. Suddenly, Maple tells him that she will evolve soon. He is surprised but quickly opens a dimension for her to rest in. This shocks them as they see the pocket dimension. Later, they go to spy on the goblin camp. Sophia says there are hundreds of goblins. Then they attack the camp with magic, killing hundreds of goblins. Suddenly, a goblin general and 2 knights attack them. Sophia kills the knights, but the general faces him. He uses magic to kill it. At the guild house, Hans is shocked that they finished the quest and tells them to follow him to meet the guild master. The guild master is upset that they finished the quest in a short time but is interrupted by Maple, who has evolved. They are surprised that she is half human and can talk now. Maria hugs her happily while the guild master decides to promote them. Later, Maria meets him at his workshop and asks for some materials to make underwear for herself and Sophia. She draws the design she wants, but Takumi draws a better one. She likes it and begs him to make it. Just then, Maple tells Takumi that the merchant is here, but he fainted when he saw her new form. Later, the merchant tells him that the Lord of Bolton wanted to see him and thank him for his toilets. Takumi is worried that his identity might be exposed but still agrees to meet with the Lord of Bolton. At a castle in Bolton, the Lord bows and thanks Takumi because his toilets have made the city cleaner. He also thanks him for killing the goblins in the forest. Takumi tells him it was a guild quest. Then the Lord warns him to be careful because of the Sidonian Empire that exploits light mages. At the mansion after the meeting, Takumi is tired, and then Maple comes to give him panties she made. He thanks her for them. Still very tired, he gives the pants and bra that Maple made to Maria and Sophia. They thank him. He asks them to try it on but quickly panics and runs when they want to actually wear them. They laugh at him. In his room, he wonders if this was the cause of the goddess's blessings fading. He gets a bad thought to try the bra and pants himself, which makes him scream. In this scene, Takumi excitedly shows Maria the fridge. He explains that it keeps food cold while they enjoy the cool air. He tells her he used magic to shape the fridge. Maria thanks him happily and says now she can have fresh ingredients anytime. Takumi asks Maria and Sophia to pick a color before he sells the rest to the merchant. He tells Sophia his next goal is upgrading their equipment to better fight monsters. He plans to use mithril and adamantite for armor. Later at the guild house, Hans tells Takumi no blacksmiths in the city can forge mithril and adamantite. Hans explains that, as an alchemist, Takumi can synthesize his own materials using mana, but it requires a huge amount. He also tells him the ores can be mined in Horus, but only miners are allowed there. He suggests taking a monster hunting quest at Horus so Takumi can mine during it. Takumi agrees. The guild master appears and tells Takumi that he should hunt some tree monsters that provides wood since he will pass through that area. He advises him to use magic to preserve the monster bodies. He also requests Takumi escort a blacksmith. The Lion Fangs would usually do it, but they're busy. He feels the quests are too much but decides to help. Hans tells Takumi that riding a monster horse would get him to Horus faster, but none are available. Just then, Riel, a Lion Fang member, arrives. He tells Takumi that his party sent him back to drop an item at the guild. Takumi invites Riel to spend the night at his house. Riel happily accepts. They head to the merchant's office to ask for a carriage and monster horses. There the merchant begs him to make more fridges. That evening, Sophia is worried Takumi hasn't returned. Meanwhile, Takumi walks home with Riel through the woods. Suddenly, Riel stops as a cloaked figure approaches. He grabs Takumi's hand and tells him to run. The figure attacks Riel. When she lifts her hood, it's Sophia who angrily attacked Riel because she thinks he is dangerous to Takumi. Takumi rushes forward. They both kneel and apologize for the misunderstanding. Riel forgives them. Back at the house, he is stunned to see 3 women. He's even more shocked to see Maple. She looks at him, saying she hates him. This makes Riel sad. He cries about Takumi being surrounded by beautiful women while he has none. Takumi tells him they aren't his girlfriends. He cheers up and asks Maria and Sophia what they think of him as a boyfriend. They both turn him down. This makes him sad. He cries while bathing. Meanwhile, Takumi discusses the quest, and the girls agree to follow him to the mine. In the morning, they bid farewell to Riel. Takumi works on breaking down a sword to craft weapons. He finally crafts it but is very tired. 3 days later, they meet the merchant, who provides the horse and carriage. They also meet Digambo, the blacksmith they'll escort. On the way, Maple asks Maria how she learned to ride horses. She replies, "Millen taught me." While Hans and the guildmaster receive a warning that monster numbers are increasing. They hope that Takumi and his party is safe. Meanwhile, a guest warns the merchant that the Sidonian Empire has learned about Takumi's city purification devices and toilets. At the Sidonian Empire, the heroes are in training. One gets praised by the teacher, which makes another jealous. He attacks the teacher in anger. Outside the forest, Takumi tells the blacksmith that he used a barrier to protect the carriage, while Blacksmith tells them to go ahead and hunt the monsters. Sophia teaches Takumi how to identify trents. She points at one, and they attack. Takumi kills it with his axe and is surprised by how easy it was. Sophia warns them that they're surrounded and suggests using magic to fight. They attack until a huge monster trent appears. Magic doesn't work on it and it keeps regenerating. Sophia tells Takumi to use fire magic on his sword. Takumi stabs the trent's head, which kills it. It drops an apple, surprising him. Sophia explains that it's a rare fruit. After hunting the monsters, they arrive at Horus City the next day, where they go to the guild house. They pick a quest at the quest board to hunt iron moles. Digambo says it will grant them access to the mine. At the mine, Digambo shows Takumi mithril and adamantite when Maple suddenly warns that something is approaching. An iron mole bursts from the ground. Takumi stuns it with light magic, and Sophia finishes it off. The blacksmith asks how he stunned it. Takumi explains that moles hate light magic because they live in the dark. Sophia says it was easier than expected. Maria cries, feeling useless in battle while the girls comfort her. The next day, Takumi visits Digambo to learn forging techniques. He crafts a flaming knife using fire magic. He also forges new armor. The girls are excited about the armor upgrades. Takumi shows off his fast armor. He tries to demonstrate it but runs into a wall. He rubs his head while the girls look away. Then he gives Sophia a magical wind spear and Maria a fire spear. Maria spins hers around recklessly. Sophia is happy with her weapon. She tells Takumi she would gladly give her life for him and asks for a shield. He agrees. Meanwhile, the goddess Nalin is worried as she watches the heroes at the Sidonian Empire. A year later, the heroes speak with the king before leaving on a mission. He blesses them in the name of the false god. In the capital, Takumi lies down tired at a table. Sophia watches him, worried that he lacks an assistant to help him with alchemy. Elsewhere, the king reads a letter. He tells his servant that the Sidonians have discovered the purification devices. At Bacular, we see a Sidonian official from the church arguing with the king. He tells the king to hand over the toilets and the magic devices to the Sidonian church. The king says the Church of Sidonia should make their own magic devices and toilets. The official gets angry and says light magic is holy and not to be used for toilets. He tells the king to arrest the magician responsible. The king refuses. Then the man says he will remove all the priests from Bacular. The king tells him to go ahead, which shocks him. At Takumi's house, he asks the merchant if making the Sidonians angry is wise. The merchant assures him it's fine, they follow different religions. He explains that the Sidonians worship a false god, Anarth, while Barcula worships Nalin. Takumi asks him about the priests. The merchant says the Sidonian priests profits from selling light magic and purification devices, unlike Nolan's own who do it freely. He then informs Takumi that Bolton's lord wants him to meet the king, who is interested in his toilets and fridges. Takumi is worried about the Sidonians targeting him, but the merchant playfully pleads with teary eyes until he accepts. That evening, Takumi tells the girls about the meeting and invites them. They eagerly agree as it's their first trip to the capital. He says they must prepare to leave in a week and promises to make cloaks from dark element stones that can make them invisible. He advises wearing them in town. The next day at the market, Sophia and Maria discuss Takumi's lack of self-protection. Sophia says he is attractive. Maria teases her for it, which makes her blush and run away, while Sophia's eyes gleam as she says Sophia is in love. Later at the church, Takumi kneels to pray. Suddenly, Nolan appears, requesting Takumi to make an offering first. He tells her to hold on a moment, then he asks her about the false god, Anarth. She says he'll find out soon. He presses further, which makes her mad. He tells her he feels his blessings may be fading due to the Sidonians. She tells him that the Sidonians aren't the cause of that. Then he asks about the other heroes. She then tells him that she summoned him a year before them and they'll arrive in months. He asks why. She says time's up. As he asks an answer, she slaps his forehead. He faints in heaven, waking up back in the church. In the future, in Sidonia, one hero trains. His teacher praises him, but the other two merely watch. At Takumi's mansion, the girls are excited in their new cloaks. He worries they dislike them, but they assure him they love them. He jokes that they look good in anything. Maria warns him jokingly he's going too far, making him panic. At his workshop later that day, he unveils plans for a carriage, explaining they'll need a monster horse to drive it. Maria excitedly says they can find plenty on the town's outskirts. They enter the forest. Takumi asks Sophia for advice on the monster horses. As they walk, Maple urges them to hurry. Suddenly, a wolf appears. They get ready to fight, but it runs past them. He explains their cloaks make them invisible to monsters. Sophia says they should take off the cloaks because they need to practice fighting. Moving forward, they fight and defeat a boar. Nearby, they see a fallen tree Trent. He decides to take it for the carriage he wants to build. While Maria cuts the boar, he and Sophia gather wood from the Trent. Maple is eager to find a monster horse and goes into the woods alone. On her way, she spots more fallen Trents. Then, she finds an injured drake horse. She approaches it gently, trying to talk to it, but it attacks with lightning. She dodges and remembers how he once healed her. She tells the horse her name and mentions her master, who can heal its wounds. Just then, two insect monsters appear. They are the ones that hurt the horse earlier. She traps them with her web, but more arrive and surrounds her. Quickly, she builds a cocoon to protect herself and the horse. The insects crawl on it, biting and tearing through the web. She calls for help with her mind, but he doesn't respond. She feels scared as the cocoon weakens, and the horse collapses. As the cocoon falls apart, she closes her eyes, hugs the horse, and prepares for the worst. Suddenly, she feels a hand on her head. She opens her eyes. It's him with the girls. She hugs him tightly and says she had been calling for help. He apologizes for being late. Maria says the creature is a drake horse and its wounds made it faint. He tries to heal it but fails. Sophia warns that more monsters are coming and it's too dangerous to stay. He puts Maple and the horse in a pocket dimension. Sophia worries it will weaken him. He says he's fine, then drinks a recovery potion but suddenly collapses. At the mansion, he is still unconscious and the girls worry. Sophia tells Maria the horse must be freed soon or he might not survive. She explains that unless Maple opens the dimension, he will get weaker. She holds his hand and kisses it, making Maria blush. Sophia vanishes into glowing light but speaks to Maple inside the dimension, warning that the horse might attack if confused. She tells her to build another cocoon to help keep the horse calm. Sophia wakes up and gets ready to leave, saying she will buy herbs. Maria offers to go instead and tells her to stay with him. Maria leaves, and Sophia stays to watch over him. As he sleeps, he hears their voices calling him to wake up. When he finally opens his eyes, Sophia is asleep, holding his hand. He gently wakes her up, and she is surprised to see him awake. He thanks her for staying with him. Maria watches from the doorway happily before they go to check on the drake horse. Outside, Maple introduces him to the recovering drake horse. He lifts his hand and tries to tame it. He successfully tames the horse, but it makes him weak. He casts healing magic, healing the drake horse and breaking the cocoon. The girls watch as it falls apart. Maple then asks him to name the horse, and he decides on Camellia, like a flower. He explains that Camellia is a tree that blooms all year with red and white flowers. Maple hugs Camellia, happily telling her about how he once healed her. Then Maria suggests throwing a party to celebrate. A man talks to a fox-eared girl. He says, "You have magic talent, but you can't use it properly." She begs him, "Please take me, I will study harder." He says, "I'm sorry, but I need someone useful, so I cannot take you." Then he leaves the room. Her mentor comes over to her and says, "Do not worry, a good master will come one day." In her room, she lies on her bed and thinks of her younger brother. She remembers the day she left and how he begged her not to leave, but she tearfully hugged him and said, "I promise to send money to help you and mother." Sadly, she sits on the bed and opens her alchemy book. Meanwhile, Takumi is using the same book in his workshop. In the morning, Maria asks him if he has to work today. He says, "Yes, I need to make an item." Sophia says, "Master, you need to rest." Maria agrees. He tells them, "Don't worry, I'm fine," waves at them, and leaves. At the guild house, he sees a man talking with the guild leader. He asks Hans, "What's the problem?" Hans says, "There's a monster scaring people." He shows him a sketch of the monster. Then he asks, "Why are you here today?" Takumi says, "I came to register my new pet." Suddenly, Maple and the monster horse appear from the dimension. Hans is scared and looks at the sketch. A man points and shouts, "That's the monster." The guild leader approaches Takumi and tells him, "Come to my office now." At the same time, Sophia walks down the street, recalling her meeting with Mulan. Mulan told her, "I don't have a slave to help your master, but I will ask around." Sophia thanks her. Mulan adds, "You've changed since you met Takumi." Maria calls, "Wait for me." They walk together. Maria says, "Master always works and sometimes doesn't eat." Sophia says, "I wish I could help Master with his work." Maria says, "I will help with my cooking." Sophia offers to assist, but Maria says no, then adds, "You've changed. Sophia, you've become happier." Sophia says, "That's enough, let's finish our shopping and meet Master." They meet Takumi asleep on the floor. The blacksmith warns them, he's been working non-stop, he may collapse one day. Later, Takumi admires his new carriage and tells the monster horse to pull it. Maria and Sophia come out and say, "The carriage is amazing." He explains, "I used magic to make the interior big." Maria says, "I love it," and he replies, "I'm glad you do." She then drives the carriage at high speed. Inside, Takumi and Sophia talk. She says, "The carriage is comfortable." Maria asks, "Can you add blades to the carriage?" He says, "I'll think about it." They drive around for days to level up the horse. A few days later, at the gates of Bolton City, they meet the Lion Fang party. They are surprised by the Drake horse and carriage. As they talk, the merchant and Bolton's lord arrive, impressed by the carriage. The merchant asks to look inside. Takumi agrees. Once inside, they hear a noise. Takumi opens the door and asks, "What's wrong?" He suddenly grabs Takumi and begs him to explain everything about the carriage. The Lord smacks the merchant's head, telling him to calm down. The merchant apologizes. The Lord says, "It's a beautiful carriage. I wish I had one for travel. I would pay 100 platinum coins for it." Takumi is shocked. It's worth 1 billion yen. Then they begin their journey. As they travel, the Lord tells his servant, "Takumi is talented and has done much for the city. I must protect him from evil people. The Sidonians might target him, so I must keep him safe." In Sidonia, the female hero is reading a book about Anarth. The book says that Anarth created elves and beastmen and made humans their masters. She drops the book, walks to her slave, grabs her collar, and scolds her for wearing it. Back in the past, Takumi and his party arrive at the royal capital. The Lion Fang party tells him how the girls killed every monster on the way. The merchant approaches and says, "I want to speak with you in the city." Later, the merchant tells him, "Make a carriage for the king so the king will notice your talent. You can make one when we return." Takumi says, "I can make it now, but I need a place to work." The merchant smiles and says, "I will find you a place." That night, Takumi tells the girls his plan to build another carriage. They are worried. Sophia suggests he get an assistant so he can rest. She reminds him how tired he was after the first build. They suggest forming a new slave contract. They promise to support him, but since they don't know alchemy, they can only help so much, and he must care for his health. He thanks them for the advice. They also say the new slave must be a woman. The next day, he talks to a slave trader at a slave company. Meanwhile, Maria tells Sophia she can't find Maple. Sophia goes inside the company and hears a scream. She finds Maple calming down a scared fox-eared girl. Maple says, "I didn't mean to scare you." Sophia scolds her. She helps the girl up and apologizes, but the girl says it's no problem and picks up an old alchemy book. Sophia asks, "Do you study alchemy?" The girl excitedly replies, "Alchemy is the best." As Sophia leaves, she meets Takumi, who says he's heading to meet a potential slave alchemist and asks her to join. At the trader's office, the fox-eared girl enters. The trader introduces her as Reva. Takumi explains he's a producer, but Reva worries he will reject her. Then he tells her he is also an alchemist. She stands up, remembers her previous master's rejection, and sits down sadly. Sophia says she met the girl earlier holding an alchemy book. Takumi and Reiva both name the book together and excitedly discuss it. He decides to test her and gives her a paper with an alchemy circle, asking, "Do you know what this is?" She looks at it, gets confused because it's different from what she knows, becomes frustrated, and begins to cry. She apologizes, "I don't understand it. I only remember it being used for mixing sweets, like with my brother." Takumi is surprised. He stands, holds out his hand, and says, "I would love for you to join my party." Sophia and the trader are shocked. Reiva says, "I don't understand, I didn't get the answer." Takumi explains, "You got half right because it relates to sweets." She is amazed. He tells her she figured it out just by looking, she has talent. She shakes his hand and promises to work hard. The trader uses magic to complete the slave contract. Takumi promises to pay her well, but Reiva begs to send the money to her village to help her mother and brother. She wants to make life easier for them. Sophia urges him to accept. "She'll grow stronger to repay you one day, and serving you forever isn't bad because you're a good master." Next, Maple and Maria excitedly introduce themselves and welcome Reiva. She smiles, realizing they are kind. In the Sidonian Emperor's castle, the king tells an advisor to attack Barcula for disobedience. The advisor agrees and plans an army, but the princess appears and says, "Wait for the heroes, they're almost here." She suggests spreading bad rumors to turn the people against them. Outside the company, Takumi makes the frame of the carriage with magic as Reiva watches him amazed. She touches it. She says, "This is incredible, it must be hard." Takumi tells her, "No, it's easy. Very soon you will also be able to do it." She sadly says, "I am not so sure about that. It looks very difficult." He tells her, "I am sure because you are always excited about alchemy." She excitedly says, "Yes, alchemy is very fascinating." As they work, Sophia watches them. At the capital, Takumi looks at the new carriage. A man approaches him and asks, "Is this your carriage?" He says, "No, I made it for the king." Suddenly, the merchant and the lord run in and say, "Your Majesty." The man introduces himself as the king. Takumi is shocked. They all kneel. The lord asks, "Why didn't you meet us at the reception, Your Majesty?" The king says, "I didn't want to waste time on useless formalities, and I also wanted to thank Takumi." This shocks them. He says, "Thank you for your toilets that have kept the city clean," and bows. Takumi says, "Please don't bow, Your Majesty." The king tells him, "I want to reward you publicly, but the Sidonians might target you." Takumi tells him, "Thank you for protecting me from Sidonia." As they leave, the king and his men watch them. He tells his men to keep the meeting with Takumi a secret. His servant says, "It will be difficult to protect Takumi." The king tells him, "We must try at all costs." At Bolton, Takumi buys the mansion from the merchant. He looks at it happily and thinks, "This is our home now." At breakfast, the girls tell him that they don't want salaries anymore because he takes care of them. He tries to change their minds, but they refuse. Sophia tells him, "I want to be with you forever and guard your grave when you die." And Maria says, "I want to die with you and be buried beside you." At Sidonian, the princess holds a purification device made by Takumi. She tells her spy, "This is an abomination to the church." The spy says, "The alchemist who made this should be killed at once." She tells him, "Go to Bolton, you will find the alchemist staying there." She says, "It is important we kill him, this is what Anarth wants." At Bolton, Reiva tells Takumi that she wants to join their guild party. She tells him, "I want to become a better and stronger alchemist to help you." Later at the guild house, Hans gives her a guild card. She thanks him for it. He says, "No problem." Then he tells Takumi his party needs a name and that they're strong like the Lion's Fang party. Takumi refuses. He says, "We are not like the Lion's Fang. We don't have a frontliner. I would agree if our party was stronger." Suddenly, the guild master appears and says, "I will train you." Outside, while they train, the master throws him around. He tells Takumi to name his party. Then he holds him up. Takumi says, "The Adventurers." The master hates the name, so he throws him again. He gets up, and the master tells him to think of another name. Takumi says, "The Toilet." The master throws him again and keeps throwing him, which scares Reiva. At the mansion, Takumi is injured and asks the girls, "Can you help me with names?" Maria says, "Takumi and his servants." He says no. Reiva suggests a very long name. Takumi says, "Thank you, but it's not good enough." Maria suggests Toilet Master. Takumi says he'd get thrown again for that name. She gets sad and calls herself a walking toilet. He tries to comfort her. Then he asks Sophia for help with names. She gets up angrily and says, "How dare he injure my master?" She says, "I am going to kill the guild master." Takumi begs her to stop. He says, "The training helped me level up." This calms her down. At Sidonian, one of the heroes trains with a sword. The other two heroes and the princess watch from nearby. The male hero mocks the one training. He tells the girl he doesn't know how to fight properly. Then he asks the female hero to go somewhere with him. She says, no thanks, which makes him mock her slave. She walks away calling him an idiot. This makes him angry. In her room, the female hero reads a book. It says Anarth created the beastmen but made humans their masters. She remembers a beastman she met telling her it's a lie. The beastman told her everyone is equal under goddess Nalin. The next day, in Takumi's workshop, he gives Reva a staff he made for her. She thanks him. Maple appears and asks for a weapon too. He gives her metal claws. He says, Reva helped me to make them. Maple happily thanks her for it. Later, Takumi trains with the guild master, who beats him badly. Later, as they train, the master still doesn't like any name Maria suggests, big bald men, which makes him angrier because he has no hair. He worried Sophia might attack the master. She tells him, fight seriously, master, which shocks him. At the guild house, the receptionist asks if Takumi will take a quest. He says, yes, but how long will it take? The guild master says, 4 days. He tells him, the Lion's Fang party would have taken it, but they're busy. The girls look at Takumi, excited to go. Maria drives a carriage. Sophia, Takumi, and the merchant's servants ride in another. The servant says, thank you for escorting me. I am going to buy milk and cheese in town. Takumi is surprised that milk exists here. Suddenly, they stop the carriages because some monsters are fighting ahead. Maple tells the monster horse to attack. It uses its magic horn and kills all the monsters instantly. Everyone is surprised. Takumi smiles and says, killed in one strike. They reach the town. There, they eat cream stew. The girls are excited as it's new to them. Takumi tells Sophia, let's buy some milk and cheese before heading home. She says, we can get some tonight at the market. At night, the girls enjoy eating the cheese. Takumi thinks, I can never go back to my world. This is my life now, and I like it. He suddenly remembers rice. He asks Sophia, what about rice? Does it exist? The girls say rice is only sold in the capital. He's surprised that they didn't get any while there. Sophia asks him, do you really want rice that badly? He says yes and then remembers rice and fish, sadly. She asks, are you okay? He asks her, do you miss home? She says, no, I like being with you. She tells him, before I met you, I lived with a curse for 50 years, and I had given up hope until you formed a contract with me. She says, I am healed now, and my life is better than before. That's why I want to stay with you. The other girls tell him that their lives have changed since they met him. He says, my own life changed when I met the goddess. Takumi then names the party Wings of Nalin in honor of the goddess. The girls cheer and say they love the name. 2 days later, they return home after the quest. As Takumi enters the mansion, he quickly covers his nose as poison gas fills the air. He turns and sees 2 assassins. One holds Sophia, who is weak from the poison. The other rushes at him with a dagger. The assassin raises the dagger to attack, but a web knocks it away. Takumi punches the assassin. The second attacks, but he dodges and throws him down. He thanks Maple for helping with her web, then uses healing magic on the girls. Sophia apologizes for being useless. He says, it's not your fault. Maria asks, why didn't the poison affect you? He says, Maple and I have high poison resistance. Maple appears and says something is outside. They go out and see gas tanks containing the poison in the compound. Sophia says, the attack was well planned, and we should call the guild master for help. Later, a carriage with soldiers takes the assassins away. The guild master says Takumi should report to the Lord of Bolton. At the Lord's house, he tells Takumi, the assassins that attacked you were sent by the Sidonian Emperor to kill you. He says, they attacked you because of the toilets you created. Takumi says, I see, before I made the toilets, the priest of Sidonia and Nalin worked together to clean the city. But the Sidonians' priests charged a large sum of money to use their magic. The guild master says, Takumi's toilets and magic devices are stealing their business. Takumi suggests leaving Bolton to hide. The Lord tells him, no, you are safer here. The guild master says, what about when he goes on a quest outside the city? Takumi says, I want to quit being an adventurer. The master tells him, no you can't. Takumi tells him, but my life is in danger. Sophia says, Master, I will protect you with my life. The guild master also promises to continue his training. As they leave, Takumi sits in a carriage, worried. He recalls the attack and thinks, the girls' lives are in danger because of me. At the guild house, Hans tells him that the Wings of Nolin is a good name. Then he tells him that the rumors of the attack is spreading. He tells him, there is news of a huge bounty on you, please be careful. Most people might try to hunt you down to claim it. At dinner, he tells the girls, we might be attacked again and your lives are in danger because of me. They tell him that it's not his fault. They promise him that they will be ready the next time. He says, I will prepare a magic barrier that will protect the house from intruders. Takumi asks, what about when we go out on our quests? Sophia suggests that they get an additional member. They tell him that it must be a woman. He agrees. Sophia then suggests they could ask Newland the slave trader for help on a new slave and also use a magic contract. He agrees that using a magic contract is safer now than blindly trusting someone. They all tell him that they trust him even without their contracts. That night, as they sleep, the city knights protect them. But Sophia moves around the house, and Takumi works in the workshop on a magic circle. The next morning, he and Riva are about to work on the magic circle. Sophia appears and asks, what can I do to help Master? He agrees and gives her the magic circle. He tells her to carve it into some sheets. Then they begin to carve the magic circle. Takumi then sprinkles some mana on the sheets. She asks him, did you sleep at all last night? He tells her, no, but I am fine. Suddenly, Maple and the horse run around the compound pretending that they are playing against a golem. Riva tells him, Master, a golem could be a very good tank. Takumi says, making their core is very hard. I am not that skilled yet. He tells her, I need to get to a higher level first before making a golem. He decides to finish testing the barrier. He tells them that they need to put the sheets around the mansion. Then he gets a notice that his mana has improved. He tells them, soon I might be able to make a golem. At the Sidonian Empire, the Emperor asks, why did the assassins not kill themselves after failing? His advisor tells him they were captured, and the King of Barcula knows we sent them. The princess tells him, Father, we should focus on summoning the heroes. Another advisor tells them, we can summon the heroes in 3 months, but we have to gather enough mana into the magic circle. At Takumi's workshop, he tries to make a golem core but he fails. Riva tells him, the core is very complex and hard to make. Maple then asks him, why do you need a tank when you have us? He tells her, we need stronger party members to protect us. Maple then suggests, you can tame a golem master. He likes the idea and asks Sophia for where he could find golems. She tells him some locations where he can find golems. She says that the best golems are found in ancient dungeons. He is surprised because he hasn't been in a dungeon and says, we should go and raid a dungeon. She tells him, we need a tank to raid a dungeon or it would be very dangerous. The next day, they go to the mountains. At the mountains, they are surprised to see a huge iron golem. Sophia tells them, it's probably a guardian of the ruins nearby. She says, we need to break the stone on its chest to kill it. Suddenly the golem turns and blinks its eyes at them. They are afraid and hide. Sophia says, let's leave it, it's too dangerous. He says no and jumps out. They follow him. He runs to attack it but stops. Sophia wants to attack. He says, wait, hold on, and stands in front of it. He tells them it doesn't want to attack. They tell him to be careful. The golem looks at him. He is scared. Suddenly he sees the goddess's face on it and that it belongs to her. He realizes that the golem is reacting to her blessings on him. He raises his hands and tames it. They are shocked. Maple is excited about having a new member and says, let's give a name. He thinks and names it Titan. He says, let's go back, but Sophia says, Titan's size will cause problems in the city. He says he will put it in his pocket dimension. Suddenly, smoke comes out of the golem. It shrinks in size and walks toward them. In the Sidonian kingdom, the female hero watches as the two male heroes mock their teacher and other knights after beating them all. Later, as they play with some girls, she tells them, have some shame. They tell them, stop being jealous. She calls them idiots and walks away. At Takumi's workshop, he draws a design for the golem. Later that day at the Lord's, he tells the girls, I want to cancel your contracts. This shocks them. He tells them, it's for the best because my life is in danger and I don't want you to get hurt because of me. Sophia stands up and tells him, we won't agree to it. Riva asks, who will protect you if we leave? Takumi says, Titan, Maple, and Camellia will protect me. Sophia sadly realizes this was why he tamed Titan. It makes them very sad. He tells them to live a peaceful life. I will pay you all your wages. He tells Riva, I will pay you a little more to take care of your family. Sophia tells him that she cannot accept this. Maria gets up and points her spear at him and says, I won't let that happen. She cries and tells him, you always values others' lives and not your own. He tells her sadly, you are all precious to him and I don't want to lose you. She tells him, we want to stay by his side and fight the enemies together. She reminds him of their guild name, the Wings of Nolin. He tells her sadly he knows. She drops the spear and cries heavily. Sophia tries to comfort her and tells him that she knows he is worried and concerned for them and their safety. She tells him, "These words you just spoke are the most hurtful words you have ever said." This makes Takumi cry and he remembers how he met them all. He tells them, "I am sorry, please forgive me, I didn't know you all felt like this." He asks them, "Would you be willing to stay with me?" They tell him yes. Sophia tells him, "My heart and body belong to you and we will live and die together, master." Maria tells him that her future belongs with him. Riva tells him that she wants to learn and create things with him. Takumi thanks them. The next day at the mansion, he shows them the armor he made for Titan. It surprises them because the armor lets Titan talk. He tells them, "I added a mace, a shield, and other things to its armor." He opens a hangar that reveals a giant robot body. He tells Titan to enter the robot body. He does, which makes him cry happily. The girls are excited and say, "Let's explore dungeons now." Nolan watches him from heaven, annoyed in his inventions, and then an angel appears and tells her that Anarth is starting to exist. She says, "That's impossible." The angel says, "It might be because the Sidonians worship her, and Anarth is an evil spirit, and her existence might cause a war with humanity." She asks Nolan what they should do. Nolan says, "We can't interfere. Only Takumi can save humanity. That's why I gave him my blessings." At the Sidonian Empire, the princess looks at the seal and very soon the heroes will be here. 1 year ago, a woman with rabbit ears kneels in front of a grave. A woman calls to her and says, "Manny, it's time to go." They leave in a carriage. As they travel, the people complain about the nobles and how they have caused hardships for the people. A woman tells Manny the nobles are the cause of your husband's death. She sadly remembers standing at the grave. At the Bolton Castle, a man tells the Lord that 1,000 people were driven out because of the useless nobles. The knight angrily says the nobles should be punished, but the Lord tells him we must focus on helping the refugees. His advisor asks where should we house them. The Lord says it will be hard. He points at a map and tells them here, but the land has a lot of strong monsters. He tells them, "There's one man that can solve the problem. Find Takumi immediately." At Takumi's home, he tells them it's time to challenge a dungeon. They choose a rank dungeon. It is underground, but the dungeon has skies, forests, and very strong monsters. With Titan's help, they are able to fight huge monster bosses. And with Maple as a scout, they are able to spot monsters from afar. After looting the treasures, then they decide to find the final boss and defeat it. The girls are excited to fight a dungeon boss. On the way, Takumi steps on a trap activating a rolling stone. That chases them until they dodge into a corner to escape. Then they notice the walls have closed behind them. Sophia says, "Let's go the other way." They arrive at a cave, which makes Takumi say, "This looks like a trap." Suddenly, the dragon appears. Maria and Reva are afraid when they see it. The dragon attacks them as they dodge. Takumi tells Maple and Titan attack the dragon's tail. Then Sophia stabs it with her spear. This angers the dragon. He uses wind magic to attack, and the girls use their magic to follow up. Then Titan uses its special attacks. The dragon burns Titan and hits it away. Sophia tells Takumi attack the dragon's side. He then summons the Drake horse, which attacks the dragon's side. He rushes forward to attack, chants his sword with lightning and throws it, killing the dragon. A treasure chest and other loot appears, and the Drake horse evolves into a dragon horse. He picks up a material that drops from the dragon and says, "I can make something from this." That day, they return home, and the Lord invites them to his castle. He asks Takumi, "Do you know about the southern land infested with monsters?" Takumi says, "Yes, I heard the land is rich in mithril ores but heavily infested with monsters, which makes it hard to explore." The Lord asks, "Are you interested in the land?" Takumi says no. Then the Lord says, "I want you to build a village in the region." Takumi is shocked. The Lord tells him, "I heard about the village where you built a wall." The advisor tells him to build the new village close to a river, far from monsters. Sophia gets angry and tells the Lord, "No, my master's life is in danger." The Lord says the situation is urgent, and that's why only Takumi can help. Takumi asks for the reason. The Lord tells him some villagers lost their homes a year ago and can't get houses because of corrupt nobles. He says, "I need your help building a village for them." Sophia doesn't believe it, but Takumi says, "I will do it." The Lord bows and thanks him. Takumi tells him about how some people helped and welcomed him, and now he wants to repay the favor. At the southern region, the party begins the work. Takumi uses magic to make roads, city walls, and moats outside the city. Riva uses alchemy to strengthen the wall, while Maria uses magic to make more roads in the city. Then Sophia uses magic to clear the forests and woods, while Maple looks out for monsters. Then Takumi tells Sophia tell the Count to bring the refugees. The Count is shocked that they are ready in 10 days. On the way, the refugees are angry that the place they're going to has monsters. The bunny-eared woman thinks they just want to get rid of us because we are refugees. carriages. When the knights and carriages get to the city, they are amazed at the buildings and the fort. Takumi meets them at the gate. The knight commander is surprised by the buildings. Takumi tells him, I built the huge fort and there are enough houses for everyone. The commander is more surprised and asks, how did you build such a place so quickly? Did you use magic? Takumi tells him, yes, I used magic. Meanwhile, the bunny-eared woman is amazed by the city. Sophia comes and asks if she's alone. She tells her, yes, my husband is dead. Sophia then invites her to join them if she's free, because she needs someone to take care of Takumi while they work. She asks, can you cook? The woman says, yes, I can. Later, in a building later that day, Takumi talks with her. She says her name is Mommy. He tells her, I want you to join my party. I will pay you well. She remembers how her husband died because of nobles. She says, no thank you, I won't join you. Maria asks her why. She tells them, I don't trust nobles. Takumi tells her, my offer still stands if you change your mind. She decides to leave the village after speaking with him. She walks outside the village gates, thinking he won't be different from the other nobles. She walks into the forest. Suddenly, she hears a noise and gets scared. Meanwhile, Takumi is thinking about the meeting. Maple suddenly appears and tells him the monsters have appeared. Then he uses Titan to fly to the village gates. He tells the knight commander to secure the villagers and that he will handle the monsters. Meanwhile, Mommy tries running back to the village. Inside the city, a woman says Mommy is missing. Takumi tells everyone, I will find her and protect you all. Then he leaves with Titan. Outside the city gates, Mommy is approached by two wolves. As they attack her, Takumi appears, drags her away, and kills them. The party appears and tells him they have killed the other monsters. She notices he is bleeding. He says it's not serious. She holds his hand, ties it with a cloth, and apologizes. He tells her, I only care about you and the refugees' safety. She realizes he is different from all the other nobles. She asks him, is the offer you made earlier still available? He tells her yes, it is. She agrees to join the party. The girls welcome her. She happily thanks them for having her. At the Sidonian Empire, a messenger tells the emperor about the appearance of the city. The emperor says Takumi must be there. The princess appears and tells him that soon they will destroy them because the time is right. At the city, Takumi is thinking about expanding the road. Mommy comes running to them with food and drinks. Suddenly, a huge mana explosion occurs and the shock wave spreads across the continent. Takumi turns around in fear. Maple asks, did you guys feel that? Sophia says, we all did. She looks at Takumi, who is afraid. He says the word, 1 year. He remembers what the goddess told him, that she sent him 1 year back in time, before the heroes, which means he arrived 1 year ago. At Sidonian, the summoned heroes look around, surprised, while the princess smiles. In heaven, the goddess watches the heroes and Takumi. An angel appears and tells her that Takumi has become stronger. She says, good, because Sidonia will attack soon. At Sidonia, the princess tells the three heroes, it's time to let the world know that you have arrived. The male heroes are happy that it is finally time to introduce themselves to everyone. The princess asks if they want to show themselves now. They agree and ask Aken, the female hero, if she is interested. She says, yes, I will follow them for the introduction. At Witchfort, the people are farming and learning blacksmithing, as Takumi watches them work, happy. Meanwhile, in the forest, Sophia kills a wolf. Maple calls her to see a rare monster. She asks, what is this monster doing here? Later that day, she tells Takumi that the monsters are growing stronger. Reva offers to help, but she says, I can fight them alone. She tells him that new types of monsters are moving toward the village, just like the one she and Maple saw. She says, I think this was caused by the mana explosion. Takumi thinks the explosion was the hero summoning. A knight tells him the Lord has asked him to return to Bolton for a quest and that the heroes have appeared in Sidonia. Takumi asks, did this happen about 3 months ago? The knight says, yes. How did you know? That night he speaks with the party. Maria says, the heroes were sent by the goddess to correct Sidonia and are a good sign. Takumi thinks, I hope Maria is right. Back in Sidonia, the emperor sends away the heroes. He says, go and make Sidonia proud. As they enter the carriage, a hero gets angry that Akane brought her slave with them. She tells him, relax, she's my attendant, not a slave. The other hero says, you shouldn't take trash like her along. At the temple, while the princess prays, the Anarth statue begins to glow. The next day at the guild house, the receptionist describes the heroes to Takumi. He begins to wonder if they are Japanese like him. The receptionist also tells him the heroes are targeting nations that don't believe in Anarth. Then she says, Papik wants his help for an escort quest. Takumi happily agrees. At his mansion, Manny begs to follow them on the quest. She tells him it would be lonely without them. Maria tells him, let her come with us, master. Sophia agrees. Manny looks at him and pleads with cute eyes. He blushes and says, you can come. She happily thanks him. On the road, the heroes are angry about the bad carriage and wish they had the ones from Barcula. One of them talks about the female elves from Barcula and says he wants one. A man in the carriage says, Barcula forbids slave transfer. The male heroes say, we want to have fun, and the girls should feel honored. Akane thinks, I must do something to stop them when we get to Barcula. In Barcula, a receptionist tells Takumi and the party that they have been promoted. Suddenly they hear a voice. It's one of the heroes. He punches a beastman and throws another to the floor for standing in their way. Suddenly they spot Sophia. They tell Takumi, sell your slave to us. He tells them, get out, she's not for sale. They get angry with him. Akane tries to stop them. They tell her to shut up. They ask for both girls, but Sophia and Manny reject them. One holds his sword, but Takumi says that's a bad idea. He charges at Takumi, who ducks and uses alchemy to break his sword. The other hero attacks him, but Takumi throws him to the ground. They are angry and tell him the Church of Sidonia won't forgive this. He tells them, you are criminals for fighting in the city. Then they leave angrily. Akane runs up to Takumi and apologizes, then asks for his name. When he tells her, she is shocked because it's Japanese. He places his hand on her mouth and whispers, let's meet later tonight. Then he walks away to meet Sophia and Manny. Akane thinks, this man might be able to help me. Later that night, Takumi speaks with the girls. Manny says, the men had bad looks in their eyes. Sophia tells them, the female hero was decent. He tells them that he invited her to see him tonight. That night, Akane and her slave run through the city. The slave girl tells her to abandon her and run. Some soldiers see them and chase after them. Suddenly, Sophia appears and beats them. She tells her Takumi is waiting. At Takumi's room, Akane thanks Sophia and Maple for helping them escape. Then she asks Takumi if he is Japanese. He refuses to answer, but she insists and says she won't tell anyone. He agrees and tells her he is Japanese, shocking everyone. He decides to tell them everything about himself. Meanwhile, a man tells the heroes that Akane has escaped with her slave. The man advises that they should go back to Sidonia. Maria tells him, this means you are a messenger from the goddess. He asks her, who are the two male heroes? She tells him, the heroes were my friends but now they are evil. He asks her, what did you eat for food at Sidonia? Maybe they were poisoned. She says, I always use purification magic on my food, but the other two neglected their magic training. He says, the Sidonians must have poisoned their food. She bows and begs him to save her. He tells her to stand up and asks what her plans are, since the Sidonians will chase her everywhere. She tells him sadly that she knows. He looks at her slave and asks if that is her slave collar. She says, yes. Then he uses magic to remove it. The slave is surprised that she is free and begs Akane, please don't abandon me. Akane tells her she wouldn't, and that they should be friends. He tells them to follow him to Bolton and leave the capital. On the way in the carriage, she is surprised at the Japanese food. He tells her he also has rice. She tells her friend Lulu to sit with them. She isn't sure, but Akane insists. As they taste the food, they stay quiet. This makes Maria sad, thinking it's bad. Akane begins to cry and tells them, the stew is so delicious. This surprises them. She smiles and keeps eating. Back at Witchfort, the knights on night watch see a red mist coming from the forests. Suddenly, monsters begin to charge at them. At Takumi's house, he is at the workshop. He tells Reva to call everyone together for a meeting. At the meeting, he tells them, I want to set everyone free. They get angry and remind him they had this argument before. He says, I want all of you to be with me as my friends and family, not as slaves. He tells them to step forward and uses dispel magic to set them all free. He happily tells them he is glad they are all here. Later at the workshop, he is making weapons. Suddenly he gets a guild alert asking all parties to come to the guild immediately. The alert shows there is a problem at Witchfort. At the guild house, Takumi meets the Lion Fang party there. He asks the guild leader what's going on. He says monsters are attacking Witchfort, and we can only use our strongest guild members for this quest. Hans tells them, fortunately, our 3 strongest parties are here. One of the Lion Fang members stands up and asks, are they here? Hans says yes, the 3rd strongest party is here. Soon a party called the Crimson Rose comes in. The leader introduces her party members to Takumi. She tells him, I have heard a lot about you. Then she says hello to the Lion Fang members and teases Riel. The guild leader tells them it will soon be morning. All of you should go to Witchfort and protect it from the monsters. Takumi leaves Akane and Lulu behind at the mansion with Titan to protect them and goes to Witchfort on the way. He gives Sophia a sword called Amaterasu. He says this is a holy sword that deals physical damage. Then he shows her its pair called Tsukayomi, a sword that deals mental damage. He tells her with both swords we can do a lot of damage to monsters, so can I trust you? She says yes. As they get closer, Reva says the monsters can't get over the walls because of its height. Suddenly Maple says look up. Takumi is shocked to see flying monsters. He says don't let them enter the city. Takumi and the adventurers begin to kill the monsters. He and Sophia uses magic to attack them. Then an archer begins to shoot arrows at the monsters climbing the wall. The other party members with Maple and Camellia begin to fight as well. The knights recognize Takumi and open the gates. Inside the city, Takumi and his party starts killing all the monsters that flew in. In the morning, after killing all the monsters, the people come to thank him. He tells Reva heal everyone. Then he goes to meet the other party members. At the top of the wall, the party members tell him that the monsters are retreating together back into the forest. A knight tells them the monsters are acting very smart. They attack us when we are resting, but run away when we fight them. Takumi says it might be because the monsters have evolved and now have a leader. He explains that the mana surge may have caused it. He tells them the summoning spell was forbidden by Nolan because it was powerful, and this might have caused the monsters to change. At Sidonian, an advisor tells the Emperor about the monster and the attack on Witchfort. The Emperor says let's help the monsters, send an army to attack Barcula. But the princess tells him father let's attack their allies. He asks how. She says let us use the heroes to attack their allies so that they cannot help Barcula fight the monsters attacking. At Witchfort, Manny heals the wounded, while Sophia looks out for monsters. Reva comes and gives her some food. She tells Sophia that Takumi gave away all his potions to the injured and there is no time to make another batch. Sophia talks to Takumi. She says please keep some potions for yourself. He says, don't worry, I just need to avoid injuries. She say you are so reckless, but he walks away. She watches him thinking I must protect no matter what. Later, Takumi tells the girls to gather the children and lead them to safety. Suddenly Maple warns that the monsters are coming. The parties walk through the gate, while others stay on the wall. Sophia says this is a serious attack. Takumi and the girls get ready to cast magic attacks. Suddenly the monsters rush forward. Takumi and the girls release their magic attacks on them, destroying the first wave. The other party members charge in and begin to slice the remaining monsters down, while the dragon horse uses lightning to attack them. Sophia and Takumi use their swords to kill some giant goblin. Then Maple uses her webs to kill the monsters on the wall, while Sophia runs ahead and uses wind magic to cut some goblins. Takumi warns her to come back. Suddenly the monsters begin to retreat into the forest and everyone stops fighting. A huge monster appears and begins to eat some goblins. They are shocked as it eats more monsters. It grows bigger and evolves into a two-headed dragon with wings. It attacks Sophia, but she dodges its flame breath. Then it hits her with its tail and jumps on her, but Takumi runs and carries her out of the way. Sophia draws it away using lightning to attack it. Takumi warns her to stop. The dragon attacks her with flame balls till it burns her up. Takumi shouts Sophia no. As she falls, the dragon is about to kill her when a huge fireball hits its side. Takumi and Sophia combine their magic and attack it. She throws her sword to Takumi. He uses its magic to attack the dragon. Then he channels all his mana into his sword and slashes the dragon into two, killing it instantly with a powerful attack. He walks over to Sophia and begins to heal her injuries. She says, "Master, please heal yourself first." He is sad and asks her what were you thinking. She tells him she wanted to protect him. He shouts at her angrily, "You could have died." She tells him my life has no value. He refuses and tells her no, your life has value. After healing her, a man comes to talk to him. Then he faints into Sophia's arms. He wakes up later on a bed surrounded by the girls. The girls are happy he is awake and the party leaders tell Sophia that Takumi is impressive. A few days later, they go back to Bolton. Elsewhere, the Sidonian heroes stand near dead bodies. They say they don't need Akane. One of them raises his sword to kill a family. At night, at Takumi Mansion, the girls have a barbecue party. Reva and Akane tell Maria that Sophia has been quiet all day. He goes to her and sits by her side. They talk about Witchfort. She says, "I will always risk my life for you." He tells her not to throw her life away. He says, "I want you to live and stay by my side. I don't want you to die for me." She tears up and promises she will. Suddenly Akane shows up with meat, scaring them. Several days later, Takumi takes Akane to meet the Lord. The Lord says she can stay in the city and tells her the two heroes destroyed a village. Akane feels guilty. She says it's my fault for being so weak. She promises to fight them next time they meet. A few days later, Takumi meets the goddess and asks, "Why did you send me back to the past 1 year before the heroes arrived?" She smiles and says, "I had no reason. Your choices are your own." He tells her that he loves his life now and will do anything to protect his friends. Then he gives her a gift of delicious sweets. She smiles, thinking that one day, he could possibly be the greatest alchemist of all time. If you want next part, comment next part. I'll make the next part if video get 10,000 likes. Share your views in the comment box. I will be reading all of your comments. You guys are the best.